Tonight, Nick, and one, of course, Nikolai Morozov, the referee. As you can see, the spelling of referee in Russian. And the face-off out at center ice now between Viktor Tюменев and Marcel Dionne of the Los Angeles Kings. This is the Russian Soviet Red Army high-scoring line. Tюменев at center, and the draw goes to the Kings. Hardi trying to give it to Taylor on the right side. Taylor bumped there. The puck comes in now into the Russian zone against the right wing boards and was taken there by A.Gusarov. His pass back behind the net, now gets it on the left side again as the Russians move back to center. Game just underway. Pass to Krutov, right wing. He shoots and a save by J.Янасек, and he dives on the rebound. So all alone on the right wing right away was Vladimir Krutov, and he had a good chance, Nick, and he got stopped by J.Янасek.
Well, a long lead pass out on the right wing, and number 9, one of the all-star wingers, took that lead pass and had room as he went down the right wing. A left shot. J.Янасek played it well. He came out, cut down the angle, and the rebound was covered up by the Kings goaltender. So an excellent scoring chance in the opening 23 seconds by Vladimir Krutov.
Tюменев will take the draw again to the left of J.Янасek, and for the Kings now they change up as Doug Smith on the draw. He wins the draw. Second face-off the Kings have won. Puck is taken by Morris, or by J.P. Kelly. He clears it up to center ice and taken now by Р.Redmond. No score. Game just underway. Redmond to Kelly. Kelly pokes it down the right side. Kelly tried to send it toward the net. It hit the side of the net as the Kings' Phil Sykes comes in to try and get it. Now at the left point, Р.Лапойнт holds it in. LaPointe drives it behind the Soviet net. Taken there by Sykes. Tried to get it to Doug Smith, tipped away. Russians with it now. Makarov on the right side. He tried to clear it. Good check thrown by Р.Лапойнт at the blue line of the Soviet Red Army as he checked Viktor Tюменев. Tюменев back in his own zone, and he misfired on his pass to Makarov, and it went right toward the goaltender Smelnikov, and he had to make the stop on it. 18:51 to go in the first period. Bob Miller with Nick Nixon, and no score in the game. Pass to the blue line, tipped high in the air, bounces down at center ice, picked up now by the Soviet Union. Khomutov fires it back behind the King net, and he gets checked by Р.Redmond. Kings with it. Pass to the blue line, given away. The pass by Р.Лапойнт, held in by the Russians, but now LaPointe intercepts in the King zone. Again gives it away. Up the middle, and a shot is deflected as A.Kasatонов sent it in toward the net. Taken by the Kings. Pass on the right wing now by Len Hackborn. Now back over on the left side to Hackborn, and a save made. Nice pass in front to Len Hackborn from Morris Lukowich, and the save made by Sergei Smelnikov, the Russian goaltender. Puck is taken by Fetisov, now led out to the blue line as the Russians come back to center. Gerasimov passes on the left side. Soviet Union with it in the King zone. Picked up on the right wing side by Fetisov, and his shot deflected wide. Going forward is Bykov in the left wing corner. He's checked by Kennedy. Bykov goes behind the net, rolled it out in front, and J.Янасek covers it up there for the face-off. 17:48 to go in the first period. No score in the game. Big save at the other end as Hackborn had a chance. Nick, we're going to have to go by numbers tonight.
I would spell it B-A-B-I-N-O-V, but not 8,000 miles from here.
Now on the draw, Shepelev on the face-off. It comes in the King zone behind the net. Taken there by Н.Дроздецкий and tipped away from him, and the Kings come back up to center ice. Pass to Tiger Williams, tipped away from him at center ice. Back comes Н.Дроздецкий down the right side. Н.Дроздецкий's shot is blocked on the way in. He battles for the rebound. He is checked now on the right wing by Anders Håkansson. He's played against the Russians before. Out to the right point, a shot from there, and a stick save, and a shot by S.Starikov. Taken by the Kings. Back to center ice. No score first period. Here is Håkansson across the line to Tiger Williams. He shoots, and a save by Smelnikov. Backing into the goal. Puck is held in now at the right point by the Kings. Håkansson can't hold it in, no. Taken away by the Russians. 3-on-2. On the right wing, Nikolai Н.Дроздецкий. His pass in front and just hit wide by Sergei Shepelev. Puck comes back up to center ice. Picked up by Tiger Williams. Williams battles his way down the left side. Would have been offside. Puck is taken away by Н.Дроздецкий, and he gives it back to Sergei Babinov. Russians with it in their own zone now as S.Starikov starts it back up to center. Gives it over on the left side, and it's chased into the King zone by Hardi. Hardy's pass pass off the boards, chased down by Taylor. Taylor ahead to Dionne, out of his reach at center ice. 16:30 to go. First period, no score in the game. Puck taken on the right wing side by V.Fetisov, but intercepted by the Kings. Across the line comes Joe Patterson, tipped away from him, and at the blue line, R.Lapойnт tried to hold it in, and he couldn't do it. We have no score in the first period. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network. So the shots on goal all even at 2. We have no score in the first period. Face-off will be outside the Soviet Army blue line, and it comes back into the Kings zone. Mark Hardy back on defense with R.Lapойnt. Here's Dionne at center, trying to get it to Joe Patterson, taken now by Dave Taylor. Taylor right in front of the Russian bench. His pass in left side and just offside of the blue line as Taylor
points. Quite a few of the Kings have experience in international competition, and as the game progresses, we'll let you know who those Kings players are.
We've played 4 minutes of the first period. There's no score. Taylor chases it in. Fettisov had it. Taylor took it away. Taylor against the left wing boards. Pass behind the net to Joe Patterson. Patterson for the Kings. His pass up the middle. Intercepted by the Red Army. Back they come to center ice now. And at center ice, it's Krutov giving it on the right side to Makarov. Makarov into the right wing corner. Makarov tries to go behind the net. Centers it. Intercepted by Dionne. Dionne in the Kings zone. He tries to clear it around Tюменев, and it is tipped down to center ice. Soviets with it again down the right wing side. Here's Krutov. His pass intercepted by the Kings. Dionne back to center ice. No score first period. Kings in a line change, so Dionne throws it off the boards into the Soviet zone. 15:21 to go. First period. Victor Tюменев passing up to center ice and to the King blue line, tipped away by Jay Wells. Now it comes to Sykes on the right wing, taken away from him by Vyacheslav Fettisov. Fettisov up to Krutov at center. He can't get it. It comes back into the King zone, and back to get it Jay Wells. Doug Smith at center along with Sykes and J.P. Kelly, but the Kings go offside at the Soviet blue line as they were trying to get the pass to Phil Sykes. 14:57 to go here in the first period, and we have no score in the game. This is an official copyrighted broadcast of California sports and the Los Angeles Kings, and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any reproduction, rebroadcast, or other use of the accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Kings is prohibited. Soviet Red Army with the puck. First period, no score. Up to center ice now. Sergei Babinov gives it on the right wing to Bykov. Bykov drops it off. Cutting in. Komutov behind the net. Comes around the left side. Komutov with it. King zone. Up the middle. Shot by Starikov is wide to the right. Rebound off the boards. Russians have control again. Gerasimov gives it on the right side. Komutov to the blue line now to Starikov. His shot and a stick save by J.Янасек. Puck comes on the right wing to Doug Smith. Smith doesn't clear it. Kings have failed to clear it on about 3 times. Here's Komutov. Right wing boards in the King zone. He is checked there. He battles for it against the boards. Now it comes down in the right wing corner and taken by Bykov. Behind the net, checked by Wells. Wells with it. Plays it around the left side to J.P. Kelly. 14:07 to go in the first period. No score. Here's Doug Smith down the left wing. Smith cutting in. He shoots, and a save by Smelnikov off his glove, and he looked a little shaky on that save, Nick. Russians bring it to center. Here's Babikov. Driving it down the right wing side, taken by Lukowich. He goes behind the net, plays it up on the right side, and it deflects as it comes out to center ice now. The Soviet Army almost intercepted. We have 13:40 left to go in the first period. Pass over on the left side into the Kings zone. Alexander Zubin chases it down, taken away by the Kings, but held in. Left point, shot from there, and a glove save by J.Янасek as I.Стельnov fired from the left point.
International game, especially against 2 European teams, Russians and the Swedes, for example. You don't see a lot of shots on goal, but you do see a lot of quality shots, and I'm surprised the Russians have used the point men. They've taken quite a few shots from 50 feet and out.
N.Drozdeckий down the right side into the Kings zone. His pass tipped toward the net. J.Янасek plays the boards. Kings with it. No score first period. Pass up to center ice. Broken up by Guzarov, but Lukowich is right there for the Kings. He drives it down in the corner to Butsy Eriksson. His pass behind the net. Guzarov intercepts to N.Drozdeckий. He's bumped against the boards. Guzarov with it again for the Soviet Union as the Russians start to come out of their own zone. It's taken now by Sergei Shepelев to Guzarov. Guzarov behind the net with 12:53 to go in the first period. No score. Now the Russians, Nick, hanging on to the puck in their own zone if they can't make the play.
That's right, and the Kings forcing the Russians to play this style now because the Kings are skating very well here in the first 8 minutes.
And the Russians forced to ice the puck, so the Kings played that very well as the Russians.
Ending defensive pair. They know when to get into the play and they know when to stay back. Both very gifted athletes.
Ryan Wilkes on the draw for the Kings. Now Tiger Williams with a check in the right wing corner on Fedosov. Williams, his pass behind the net. One of the Kings dumped right in the slot. No penalty. It was Brian Wilkes. Puck is taken by the Red Army. Back up to center ice. Kasatonov. His pass now down on the left side. Chased in by the Russians. Picked up by Veselov. Veselov on the left side. A drive knocked away by J.Янасек. Veselov behind the net. Checked hard by Tiger Williams. Puck is picked up by Vasiliev. Vasiliev to the blue line. And a shot by Fedosov. Blocked by Anders Håkansson of the Kings. Håkansson back up to center. 12 minutes to go. First period. No score. And Håkansson drives it into the Soviet zone. The goaltender gave it away. Wilkes pass up the middle. Intercepted by Vasiliev. Mikhail Vasiliev, 3-on-2 for the Russians. Down the right wing, Vasiliev drops it now. Veselov with a shot and a stick save by J.Янасek. Puck comes out on the left side. Held in by Kasatonov. He gave it away. Wilkes with it. Up ahead now to Dave Taylor. Taylor to Tiger Williams. Williams at center to Taylor. Right wing just out of his reach. Taylor chases it in deep. Checked by Fedosov. Taylor behind the net. Taylor checked now on the right wing side by Viktor Tюменев. Russians with it with 11:24 to go in the first period. This is Bob Miller along with Nick Nixon. No score. Period number 1. Soviet Red Army, the champions of the Soviet League, and they bring it into the King zone. And a check thrown on Tюменев, but he gets up and passes to the blue line. Starikov with a drive and a stick save by J.Янасek. Bobby Jays look pretty good with the stick saves tonight, Nick.
A couple of shots he's faced. He's had some traffic in front.
10:58 to go in the first period. No score. Russians with it again now. Tюменев across the line with a behind-the-back pass broken up by Phil Sykes. Back out to center ice. Starikov with it. He gives it to Babinov. Babinov for the Russians. Pass on the right side broken up by Jay Wells. Ahead now to Dionne across the line. Dionne shoots and a save by Melnikov, and he hangs on with Joe Patterson looking for a rebound. 10:40 to go in the first period, and we have no score in the game.
Marcel Dionne is shift, and I think he hurt his right ankle. Trainer Pete Demers working on him. He's watching the referee, Bob, who is Russian, and he seems to follow the puck a lot. He doesn't watch the action in front of the net.
Kings with it. Hardy from the right point with a shot blocked on the way in. Back comes the Soviet Red Army. No score first period. Pass to Gerasimov on the right wing. Gerasimov behind the net. Comes around the left side with R.Lapojnt on him. Gerasimov to the blue line. Still with it. Top of the slot. His pass over on the left side now into Gerasimov, and a save by J.Янасek. Rebound. Shot. Another save by J.Янасek. Tremendous goaltending by Bob J.Янасek. He stopped Gerasimov the first time and then made a fine save on the rebound.
Well, 2 beautiful saves by Bob J.Янасek. Excellent puck movement. Player was dumped to the side of the cage, but they got it back in front. A sprawling save by J.Янасek. The rebound was loose. A couple of Kings went down, including the goaltender. And then the shot was taken from an awkward position by Khomutov, and J.Янасek, juggling with the glove, comes up with the save.
10:15 to go in the first period. No score. Kings trying to clear their own zone, and they do. Doug Smith to center, trying to give it to J.P. Kelly. He didn't get it. This will be icing if the Russians get to it. And a hard check thrown by Kelly on Guzarov. Puck comes out to Hardy at the right point. He holds it in to J.P. Kelly. Kelly in the Russian zone, right wing corner. He gives it to Phil Sykes. Sykes back along the board. Sykes pass into the corner to Kelly. Kelly checked by Stelnov. Puck is behind the net. Chase down there. Pass out in front to Sykes. He can't get a shot. Puck is picked up now as Sykes pulls down Khomutov, and the puck taken by the Russians.
A lot of interference, Bob, but nothing has been called.
Gerasimov's pass over on the left side and out to center ice. It comes chased down by R.Lapojnt. 9:30 to go in the first period. No score in the game. Puck taken by the Kings. Doug Smith, as he came across the line, would have been offside. Russians with it. Back comes the Soviet Red Army. They have won their championship 28 of the 39 years that the Soviet League has been in existence. And this Soviet Red Army team this year, Nick, lost only 3 times in 40 games. Russians with it into the King zone. Overskated by Shepelев. Picked up now by the Kings in their own zone. Pass up the middle to Lukowich. He didn't get it. It comes all the way down to the Russian zone. 9 minutes to go in a scoreless first period. Hope you're enjoying our prime ticket telecast wherever you're watching tonight. Long pass by Shepelef down into the King zone. Butsy Erickson chases it down in the corner. Gets some help from Д.Кеннеди. Дроздецкий with it. Dроздецкий's pass up the middle taken by А.Касатонов. А.Касатонов drives it in a save made by J.Янасек. It deflected in front of the net. Here's Фетисов. His pass intercepted by the Kings' Len Hackborn. Hackborn didn't clear it. Held into the right point now. Russians with it. Pass down the right side and a good check throw in there by J.Wells on Dроздецкий. Dроздецкий with it. Right side. His pass tipped toward the net and a save by J.Янасek. I think it bounced off of Butsy Erickson. Again the Russian shot and a stick save by J.Янасek on the shot from the left wing side by Alexander Zubin. Or from the slot, I should say, by Zubin. And now the puck frozen on the left wing side. No score for...
It's a special night here at the Forum International Hockey, and one of the fans in attendance has made something up for the players tonight. What are those, Leonard Price?
Oh, the money clip and a pendant and a keychain. One for different players. The middle one is for Dave Taylor, and the other one is for the another one of the players.
Well, that's something for the players to remember tonight. Special event by.
Playing away again. Puck is in the King zone behind the net. J.Янасek, who has really played brilliantly here in the first period. Pass over. The Kings fail to clear it, but now they will. Up to center ice. Here's R.Lapойnt with Taylor. Over to Lapойnт. Lapойnт going in. Lapойnt hit the side of the net. He got in too deep. He had the goaltender faked out. I think he was trying to get it back to Taylor, and he got in at a steep angle, and his pass hit the side of the net.
Normally, Bob, you don't see a guy like Lapойnt take that chance, but he saw the open ice down the left wing and made the 2-on-1.
7:38 to go in the first period, no score. Russians come back. I.Gimаев down the right wing side. He's bumped against the boards. Gets it to Васильев. Васильев spun around by Joe Patterson. Kings with it. Taylor to Dionn. Dionn left wing. Soviet zone. He shoots wide to the right side. Rebound. Taylor chases it down. Taylor against the boards. Check there. Puck is cleared back out to center ice. We have no score in the first period between the Los Angeles Kings and the Soviet Central Red Army. 7:12 to go in the first period. Puck taken now back by the Soviet defenseman Babinov. Drops it off to Makarov. He is number 24, their leading scorer, and the leader in the Soviet League, scoring 5 of the last 6 years. Number 24, he had it on the right side, but it bounced off his stick. Taken now by Alexei Guzarov, or Krutov. Now up on the right side. Russians come to center. Here's Makarov, their leading scorer. Cross the line, offside. On the play is Viktor Tюменев, who is a newcomer at center to this line because Larionov is home in Russia with the flu.
You mentioned Sergei Makarov, first in Soviet League scoring 5 of the last 6 seasons, led the league in goals, assists, and points this past year. Makarov just 27 years old, and you go down the ages, Bob, of a lot of these Soviet players, and they're all in the prime years, which you would call prime years for professional athletes, most of them 25, 26, 27 years old.
Kings have been outshot 12-3. The Russians have 10 of the last 11 shots in the game. Now down the left side, Makarov can't get around Д.Кеннеди. Kennedy headmans it up to center ice, and we've got a penalty for tripping behind the play to A.Tuэр. We'll be back with a Russian power play. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Penalty to A.Tuэр, tripping at 13:27. Caught by referee Nikolai Morotzov as the Kings thought they were going to break down ice in a 2-on-2 situation.
Well, they got their high-scoring line out there now as Makarov has it on the right wing side. First power play of the night. Makarov for the Central Red Army. Passes in deep, out in front, and a pass wide by Tюменев. Held in by the Russians now. They have the power play. No score for Tюменев. Shooting, and it's just wide to the right side. He shot right from the slot. Puck comes to Makarov, to Tюменев. Up the middle, and out to center ice. It got away from Alexei Guzarov. Russians with it back of their own blue line. Guzarov chased by Phil Sykes. Kings have Doug Smith and Phil Sykes up front, and back they have Hardy and Wells. 6 minutes to go in the first period, no score. Here is Makarov across the King line. Makarov's pass down the right side. Guzarov, his pass in front, tipped away but not out. Held in by the Russians. Stelnov with it. Stelnov to Guzarov. Guzarov, top of the left circle. Guzarov to Stelnov, shoots off the pass, blocked on the way in. Pass over left side, broken up, loose puck. right side. Russians hold it in. Kings couldn't clear it out. Held in by Stelnov at the blue line to Gusarov. Guzarov's pass tipped away, gets it back again, gives it to Stelnov. Stelnov to Gusarov, to Krutov. Krutov's pass over on the right side. Makarov up the middle. Taken there and a shot by Stelnov and a save by J.Янасек. Rebounded to Tюменев. Tюменев for the Russians. Tюменев left wing corner to the blue line. Gusarov. Gusarov shoots and a save off the blocker of J.Янасek. Puck is taken by Hardy. Can he clear it? No. Stelnov, right point, holds it in. Stelnov to Gusarov. Gusarov shoots and it's just wide to the right side. Picked up by Makarov. Makarov for the Red Army. 28 seconds on the power play. His pass over to Gusarov. Gusarov from the left wing side. Gusarov still with it. His pass tipped away by Doug Smith. Taken by Hardy. Hardy to Smith. Smith clears it.
Great puck control by the Soviets. Those one-touch passes. They don't stop the puck, set it up, and then pass. They keep that puck constantly in motion, moving away from the puck, and that's how they get those quality chances, especially on a power play.
3 seconds to go in the King penalty. Soviet Union with it. Pass on the right wing side now. Gerasimov. Kings are back at full strength. Here's Kasatonov to Gerasimov. Right wing. Gerasimov shooting. Save and a rebound wide, and J.Янасек took a poke at one of the Russians.
Well, he was standing near the crease.
I think it was Gusarov. Puck is out at center ice, then cleared back into the King zone, and we're going to have an icing call against the Soviet Union. 4:13 left in the first period. Let's go to Rich Murata.
Thanks a lot. Back up to Bob and Nick.
Face off in the Soviet Union zone to the right of the goaltender Sergei Milnikov.
14-3, the Soviets have outshot the Kings, and we're seeing, Bob, tonight what a good goaltender can do for a team. The Kings are in it because of the play of Bob J.Янасek.
No doubt about it. He has been brilliant, and Pat Quinn said if he's really hot, I may not switch him at the midway mark. Face off to the right of Milnikov in the Russian zone. The Kings with Д.Ионн, Joe Patterson, and Dave Taylor. Patterson shoots and a save, and rebound covered up by the goaltender Milnikov. Nice draw by Д.Ионн to Taylor to Patterson, and Joe got the shot.
Well, one statistical area where the Kings are doing very well here in this fast-paced first period. Face-offs. The Kings have dominated the Russians. They won that one cleanly, and Patterson had a good chance from 35 feet.
And a face-off in the same spot again to the right of Milnikov, and Д.Ионн on the draw to Patterson. This time his shot is blocked. Back come the Russians to center ice. It's picked up now by Gerasimov. Gerasimov's back left side. Khomutov shooting and a save by J.Янасek. He came out, made the pad save. Now the puck taken by Bykov, tipped away from him. Kings Dave Taylor clears it to center. Joe Patterson chased it down. Russians with it. 3:51 to go in the first period. No score. Fetisov drops it down the middle. Gerasimov shooting, and it's deflected wide. Gerasimov chases it into the right wing side. Gerasimov out still with it toward the blue line. Passes over on the left side now, and a shot by Fetisov is wide, and the rebound all the way back out to center ice. 3.5 minutes to go in the first period. Kasatonov back to get it. Now they try to break Khomutov of the King line, but it's broken up by the Kings' K.Redmond. At center ice, taken by Brian Butsy Erickson. His pass stolen by Drozdetsky. Drozdetsky to the King line, tipped away from him, picked up by Wells. Wells bumps into Lukowich of the Kings. Drozdetsky with it. He's checked by Wells. Puck is centered toward the slot, tipped away by the Kings as Hackborn sends it up to center ice. No score first period. Fetisov takes it away. Left side, right toward the goaltender J.Янасek as it slid toward him, and he makes the save on it before Shepelef.
And get that whistle because it's going to be a fast-paced game. You get very few penalties in international competition, and of course the Russians aren't prone to going off sides or icing the puck.
Kings clear it all the way down the Soviet zone with 2:49 left to go in the first period. No score. Here's Shepelef with it. His pass around on the left side, taken there by Alexander Zubin. Zubin feeding it on the left wing side, but chased into the King zone by Lukowich. Lukowich drives it around and not out. Soviet Red Army holds it in play against the boards. Picked up down the right side now on the right wing side. Lukowich reaches out and throws Zubin down to the ice. Drozdetsky with it to the blue line. Babinov shooting, and it's wide. Rebound off the boards. Starikov at the right point. Starikov shoots, deflected wide. Rebound. Butsy Erickson can't clear it. Soviet Union, Nick, does a great job of holding that puck in the King zone at the blue line or against the boards on either side. Pass into the circle, broken up again. Now cleared out to center ice and taken there by Sergei Starikov. Starikov over on the right side to Shepelef. His return pass broken up by Butsy Eriksson. He clears it to center for the Kings. 1:49 to go in a scoreless first period, which so far, Nick, I think has surprised everybody. And I'm sure everybody surprised and fascinated with the play of the King goaltender. Tiger Williams intercepts as J.Янасек has made some fine saves. Now Williams behind the net. Williams, Soviet zone. He's checked there. Checked by Starikov. Puck is against the boards behind the net, and the whistle blows play dead as Tiger Williams was battling for it back behind the net with Starikov, and Starikov bent over, Nick, like he might be shaken up a little bit.
Well, Tiger Williams got in the zone quickly. His shot was blocked, and he followed it up behind his play along the boards. Bob J.Янасek, 15 saves tonight at the other end, and he has been the story of this first period from the Kings' perspective.
Face off to the right of Mylnikov, the Russian goaltender, brought up to center ice now by the Soviet Union. Vasiliev into the slot. His pass is intercepted by the Kings' Tiger Williams. He was trying to get it to Alexander Veselov. Now Guzarov at the right point with a shot knocked down, and a hand pass called against R.Lapojnt. I thought for a moment they're going to get him for closing his hand on the puck. I wasn't sure.
R.Lapojnt gloved it as the pass or the shot right in the slot was knocked down by the veteran defenseman. It looked to me like he held on to it for more than that split second, which they allow. You're not supposed to close your hand on it, just bat it to the ice, but got a good look at it.
Jon on the draw against Tюменев, and the puck picked up by Taylor. Now he clears it out to center for the Kings. No score, first period. Here's Tюменев at the Soviet blue line. Down the right side now with 1 minute left to go in the first period. Tюменев, he tried to center it, picked up by Makarov, up the middle, tried to give it to Fettisov, taken away by the Kings. Here is Dionne, giving it over the left side to Joe Patterson. Patterson, Soviet zone. Patterson rolls it out in front, intercepted by Viktor Tюменев. Back they come with 44 seconds to go in the period. Down the right side, Krutov cutting in. Krutov centers it. Score! Fettisov right in front, put it in. As Krutov made a nice move down the right wing, centered it right out in front to Vyacheslav Fettisov. And the defenseman right in front of the net scores with 39 seconds remaining in the first period. Number 9, Vladimir Krutov, centered it right up the middle to number 2, Vyacheslav Fettisov, and he was all alone. And the Soviet Red Army leads 1-0. So the faceoff will be out at center ice. Nice play by Krutov as he cut down the right wing, and then of course Fettisov got behind all the Kings and walked right in, and J.Янасek was facing the shot from only about 5 feet away. Now the draw taken by the Kings at center ice. Redmond drives it into the Red Army zone, and icing called against the Kings. 33 seconds remaining in the first period, and the Central Red Army of the Union leading 1-0. 2 was in there to score, but right now they officially give it to Makarov with the assist to Krutov and Fettisov. Puck is taken now at center ice by the Soviet Union. Starikov with it with 20 seconds to go in the first period. Now to the King blue line, offside, as down the right side came Gerasimov, and it was poke checked off his stick, and an offside call. Number 19, Vyacheslav Bykov. He was 5th in team scoring for the Soviet Union this year and 7th overall in the Soviet League scoring. He is a center. This is not a big Soviet team, but of course great skaters and stick handlers and shooters. Puck taken by the Kings. Redmond plays it up the right side, broken up by Babinov. 10 seconds left to go in the first period. 1-0 in favor of the Central Red Army. Puck is back behind the King net. Wells with it, passes over on the right side. Now 1 second to go, and that's the end of the first period. And in that period
against Winnipeg.
Second period underway now as the Kings are down 1-0. Jay Wells with it, almost tipped away from him, and now taken all alone down the middle. Makarov in front, shoots, and he fanned on it. Makarov came right down the middle, went to the left side, and fanned on the shot. He was all alone in front of J.Янасek. So the Kings have trouble again at their own blue line trying to clear it out. And the Soviet Red Army almost turned it into a goal, but not very often are you going to see a player like Sergei Makarov fan on a shot when he's in that close. Soviet Union leading 1-0. Second period just underway. Here's Veselov down the left side. Veselov cut off there in the King zone. Still has it. Plays it over to Makarov. Makarov pass up the middle. Comes out to center ice. He was trying to get it to Igor Stelnov, and Stelnov didn't get it. Comes all the way back into the Soviet zone. Soviet Union. Makarov with it. He's checked by J.P. Kelly. Now up to center. Bykov trying to give it to Khomutov. Khomutov across the line. Stopped by Wells and by Redmond. And now cleared by J.P. Kelly back into the Soviet zone. Central Red Army playing it up to center ice. Broken up by Redmond for a moment, but then taken again by Gerasimov. His pass tipped away. Soviet Union. Bykov at center. Loses it to J.P. Kelly. To Doug Smith. His pass on the right wing to Sykes. Broken up by Gerasimov. Gerasimov down the right side around R.Lapojnт. Gerasimov shoots. Saved by J.Янасек off his stick. Nice stick save by J.Янасek. Fetisov from the blue line with a drive, and it just bounces wide to the net to the right side. Picked up now, and it looks like the Soviet Army has it in high gear. Pass in behind the net. Broken up by J.Янасek. Out to the right point and out to center ice. Flipped back in, and the Soviet Union will be offside as Khomutov flipped it across the line. This is the Los Angeles.
Again, Bob, the first 2 minutes here, they get control of the puck, and they're just throwing it off the boards to clear that pressure away from their own zone.
Soviet Union with it now. Н.Дроздецкий across the line. Drops it back to the line. Intercepted by Glenn Hackborn. Hackborn for the Kings. He's got Lukovic with him. Hackborn across the line. Pass over to Dionne. Tipped away by Starikov. And back comes the Soviet Union. Pass into the King zone. Chased down by Д.Кеннеди. Kennedy passes behind the net to Len Hackborn. Hackborn's pass taken away. Soviet Red Army with it. Н.Дроздецкий behind the net. Н.Дроздецкий's pass up the middle. Tipped. Loose puck. Kicked against the boards. Picked up now by the Kings and cleared by Hardy to center to Hackborn into the Soviet zone. Hackborn, his pass over to Lukovic. He's tied up by Shepelev. Lukovic left side, still keeps it in the zone. Left wing side, pass over to Hackborn. Shooting and a save by Smylnikov. He was ready for that. Nicky went down to his knees, knew it was coming all the way. Cleared back by Babinov to the King line. Now Hawkinson for the Kings. Hawkinson across the line. Hawkinson's pass up the middle to Lukovic. He shoots and a save by Smylnikov as Lukovic simply directed it toward the net. Back comes the Soviet Union. 1-0. Central Red Army leading. Second period. Starikov shoots it into the King zone, and over to get it is Wells. Wells pass up on the left side now. Hawkinson. His pass to Redmond. He overskates it at center ice. Puck is taken by Vasiliev. He can't hang on to it. Taken again by the Kings. Shot by Hawkinson, deflects into the air. Picked up on the right side now in the Soviet zone. Battled for by Lyle Fair. Fair can't hang on to it, but it comes around the boards and is tipped out to center ice now by Vasiliev and chased down into the King zone by Rashid Gamayev, number 10. Gamayev behind the net, but it comes to Redmond. Redmond to Fair. Fair is stopped by Stelnov. Igor Stelnov of Russia in the left wing corner, and the puck is frozen there in the King zone. 16-17 to go. Second period.
Chernik, who is 20.
Now the puck taken by Krutov in the King zone. His pass out to the right side. It hops over the stick there of Kasatnov and out to center ice. 16 minutes to go in the second period. Bob Miller with Nick Nixon. Here's Krutov down the right side. Cutting in. He shoots and it's wide. Off the boards. It comes out to center ice again. Chased down now by Fetisov. Fetisov has got the only goal of the game. He gives it to T.Umenev, and now at center ice. Makarov chases it. Makarov checked by Joe Patterson. Puck comes to R.Lapojnт. He gives it to Patterson. Now taken by Dionne. Dionne up to center, tried to hit Taylor. Tipped away at center ice, but Д.Кеннеди with it. Kennedy gives it to Patterson, and Makarov poke checks it off his stick. Back at center ice, Taylor with it. He's got to wait for the Kings to get onside. He does. Waited for Dionne to get onside. Then Dionne cut toward the middle, and the pass by Taylor was out of his reach. 1-0. Central Red Army. 15:21 to go. Second period. Red Army with it. Across the line. T.Umenev shooting, and it's just wide. Rebound off the boards taken by the Kings. 3-on-2. J.P. Kelly with Dionne and Sykes. Kelly to Sykes. Right side. Sykes in front. Shoots. Saved by Smylnikov. Sykes trying to center it. Tipped away, and back come the Russians. Good chance on the left wing to Makarov. Cutting in. Makarov shoots and a save. Rebound up the middle. Tipped toward the goaltender J.Янасek, and while he's on the ice, he makes the stop and he hangs on for the faceoff. 1-0. The Central Red Army leads. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
other end right before that chance by Makarov. Sykes cutting around the defense, and I think as he cut in, Bob, on the forehand, he fanned partially on his attempt.
Kings won the draw as Doug Smith, and they clear it up to center, but the Soviets with it again. Bykov down the right side. He is stopped, and the puck taken now. Pass up the middle. Babinov intercepts. Babinov to Khomutov. Khomutov on the left side. He's bumped by Hardy. Knocked down by Hardy. Puck is in the left wing corner. Wells ties up one of the Soviet players. It was Bykov, and the puck is picked up now by Doug Smith. Here's Smith trying to stick handle out. He kicks it to center, but it's taken away now. Down the right side, Gerasimov. Gerasimov behind the net, around the left side, still with it now. Gerasimov for the Red Army, stick handles, goes to the right side. Gerasimov stops his pass to Bykov, and he didn't get it, and Jay Wells knocks Gerasimov down. Puck is driven around by Sykes to the right point, held in by Starikov. Starikov gives it to Gerasimov. He's checked there by Doug Smith. Puck is picked up by Gerasimov again, right wing side. Gerasimov's pass in deep, deflected behind the net. Soviet Union still with it now. Kings can't take it away. Pass up the middle, and a shot by Starikov is blocked by J.P. Kelly, and it deflects all the way back to the Soviet zone.
Tremendous puck control by the Soviets, and the Kings looking for a line change. Now they got a couple of players off, but Wells and Hardy have been out there for quite some time.
Vyacheslav Bykov sends it into the Kings zone, but the Kings come back to center. Here's Lukowich on the left wing, fires it into the Soviet zone. It's 1-0 in favor of the Red Army. 13:24 to go, second period. Butzy Eriksson into forecheck. Now the puck taken behind the net by Guzarov. Guzarov checked there. He gets away from Lukowich. Guzarov around the right side for the Red Army. Up to Т.Юменев, and his pass on the right side tipped into the Kings zone by Н.Дроздецкий, but swept away by Янасек. Taken down the left side. Сtelnov behind the King net. Сtelnov drops it to Н.Дроздецкий. Н.Дроздецкий right side, King zone. Н.Дроздецкий shoots, and a stick save by Янасек. Puck is taken now by Lukowich. He clears it to center, but it's off the stick of Butzy Eriksson. Now picked up on the right side by Hackborn, Russian zone. Hackborn drops it. Redmond shooting, and it's deflected up off the glass. Out to the left side. Held in there by Р.Лапойнт. And a centering pass is stopped by the goaltender as Hackborn tried to center it. And Mylnikov, the goaltender, covered up on it and hangs on for the...
Tikhonov, Viktor Tikhonov, the head coach of the Soviet Red Army team, a familiar face to all of you Olympic, I'm sure.
Face off in the Russian zone to the right of the goaltender, Sergei Mylnikov. Boy, Bob Янасек has made some of the finest stick saves tonight, Nick, I think I've ever seen him make. Anders Håkansson on the draw against Ir.Gimaев, and the Russians come out up to center ice. Controlled now by Vasiliev. Now on the left side, there is a shot by Kasatonov, and a glove save by Янасек as the defenseman Alexei Kasatonov fired from the blue line, and Bobby Янасek with a glove save.
Well, Bobby Янасek looks to be very intense out there tonight. He's in the game. He's not wandering too far away from his net, and of course on occasion Kings goaltenders Янасek and Elliott have not played well around there. This three here in the second period.
Ir.Gimaев will take the draw for the Soviet Union against Dave Tiger Williams of the Kings. Face-off taken by Fetisov. Down the left side. Pass in front. Just tipped wide. And now behind the net it's picked up as it was just tipped wide by Alexander Veselov. And he got a pretty good crack against the back of the net. Or neck, I should say, when he was in front of the net. 1-0. Kings almost intercept, but Lyle Thayer overskated it just inside the Soviet zone. Now it comes down to center to Craig Redmond. Redmond battles for it there. Lyle Thayer picks it up. His pass taken away by Fetisov. Over on the right side now into the King zone, and a shot is deflected wide by Vasiliev. Now picked up by the Kings. They're down 1-0 with 11:44 to go in the second period. Here's Håkansson, flips it into the Soviet zone. In the corner to Tiger Williams. He's bumped there. Puck is picked up by Gimаев. He's bumped behind the net by Tiger Williams. Puck controlled by the Soviet Union. Pass to the blue line. Tipped up in the air by Д.Кеннеди. Trying to get it for the Kings, Dave Taylor. Taylor checked there by Kasatonov. Now Kennedy with it. His pass. Taylor chases it down, but Fetisov has it for the Soviet Union. 11:17 to go in the second period. Bob Miller with Nick Nixon. Soviet Red Army leading 1-0. Kennedy behind the King net. Pass up the middle to Taylor. Taylor to center ice. Tried to pass to Dionne, but he fanned on it. It's picked up now by R.Lapойnт. He gives it to Tiger Williams. They got Williams now with Dionne and Taylor. Here's Taylor in the slot to the blue line to Kennedy. He shoots. Save. Rebound. Taylor with it. Shoots. Hit the side of the net. Taylor behind the net. Taylor in the Soviet zone. Can't get a pass out in front. It is broken up and cleared. Up over the glass, out of play. 1-0 Soviet.
This evening, Lou McCleary, the Kings represent.
You know, the more you watch these Russians, we're almost midway through the game, you really have to be impressed with not only their hockey ability, but the fact that they're very agile.
Taylor to Dionne. He scores! Marcel Dionne! Marcel Dionne got it from Dave Taylor, and with a shot from the right wing, ties the game at 1-1.
Good work along the right wing boards by Taylor, leaving it for Dionne, who blasted one on the glove hand side of Smylnikov. Tied at 1.
And now the Russians offside of the King blue line, and this near capacity crowd roaring their approval as Marcel Dionne has tied the game. The third all-time leading scorer in the National Hockey League. Marcel Dionne at 9:22 ties it up.
Great work by Dave Taylor right at the blue line. He stepped around defenseman Babinov, and Dionne joined Taylor and had a head start from the standpoint that Dionne was flying into the zone and took that lead pass and just blasted it quickly.
Now the Soviet Union with a shot from the blue line. A stick save made as Makarov got the shot. He gets it again, or Stelnov, I'm sorry. Stelnov sends it down into Н.Дроздецкий. Н.Дроздецкий left side, centers it, saved by Янасек. Rebound hit the side of the net. Янасek with a save on Alexander Zubin, number 25, who was right out in front. And then the shot hit the side of the net on the rebound, and Янасek covered it up.
Well, the Kings had only 4 shots on goal in that first period, and in the first 10 minutes now, the Kings, with the score now tied, have to play with more and more confidence.
Face off to the right of Bob Янасek, and on the draw comes to Stelnov at the left point. He shoots it, deflected off a body over to J.P. Kelly. Kelly left side. His pass up to Sykes, leads it at the blue line for Hardy. Hardy's pass into the Soviet zone, broken up there, and Kelly got dragged down. Soviets come back down the left side, now into the Kings zone. Drop pass in front to Guzarov, and he can't get a shot. Back come the Kings. Phil Sykes passing over on the left side to Doug Smith. Soviet zone. Smith cutting in. Smith in the left wing corner. Smith checked from behind by Stelnov. J.P. Kelly drags it behind the net. Kelly with help from Sykes. Kelly throws it in the corner. Taken away by the Soviet Union. Back to center. Guzarov is hooked, and a penalty to Phil Sykes.
Sykes was dumped a few moments ago, Bob, right in front of the Russian goaltender. And again, the referee is watching the puck, not the play in front of the net. And I think that's what Phil is complaining about right now. But this was out in center ice area, open ice. The Russian player going down, drawing the penalty, Guzarov, as Sykes got that stick up high around the right shoulder of the Russian defender. So there's 2 penalties in the game, and both to the Kings. Р.Туэр went off.
Want to say hi to Jeffrey O.J., unable to be here tonight because he's homesick, but he's watching the game on Prime Ticket, and we hope all of you watching on the Prime Ticket television network tonight are enjoying the game. Kings will be home here against the Winnipeg Jets this Saturday and next Monday, and boy, are those 2 important games, Nick. The Kings are trying to catch the Jets in the Smythe division. Saturday, Winnipeg here. Monday, Winnipeg here, and there are tickets available. Forum box office open every day at 10 a.m., and you can get the tickets at all Ticketmaster outlets. Soviet Union with a power play now. Fetisov at center. Sends it on the right side to Makarov. Makarov against the right wing boards. Makarov in the King zone. He's got Kasatnov in the slot. Gives it up the middle. Fetisov shoots. Blocked in front. Rebound. Tipped wide by Krutov. Krutov with it again. In front. His pass tipped away. Brian Erickson can't clear it. Held in now by Kasatnov. Into Makarov. Right wing corner. His pass up the middle. Gets it back again on the right side. Makarov still with it. Buttsy Erickson in front of him. Makarov tried to walk into the slot. Jay Wells clears it for the Kings.
Soviets very patient on the power play. They'll wait for that one outstanding scoring chance. They controlled the puck in the offensive zone for well over a minute when they had that earlier power play.
1 minute to go in the King penalty. Here's Krutov down the right side. Krutov walking in, goes behind the net. Krutov still with it. Krutov on the power play to the blue line to Fetisov. Fetisov plays it right side. Shot down and hit the side of the net on the shot by Guzarov. Soviet Union still with it. Pass to Guzarov right side. He's checked there. Kings can't clear it. Held in by Т.Юменев, and another penalty. Brian Erickson for slashing, I believe. A delayed penalty, and now the whistle blows as the Kings get K.Редмонд at left defense. Kings have only 3 players out. And on the draw, the loose puck in the King zone, controlled by Makarov, up the middle to K.Редмонд. K.Редмонд waits, shoots, blocked on the way in, but it comes right back to him. Hardy blocked it. K.Редмонд to Fetisov, to K.Редмонд. K.Редмоnd over the left side to Krutov. He didn't get it. Plays it off the boards. Back it goes to K.Редмонд. 15 seconds to go in the 2-man advantage. K.Редмоnd right side. Fetisov shoots, and it was deflected by J.Wells, who blocked the shot. Held in by Т.Юменев. Up the middle. K.Редмонд. K.Редмонд as the Kings are just about ready to get one man back. K.Редмоnd left side. Shoots. Saved by J.Янасек. Rebound. Save again by J.Янасek. Kings get one man back. Puck is against the left wing boards. Sykes with it. Cleared to center ice.
Outstanding saves by Bob J.Янасek.
1:10 to go now in advantage. Krutov right wing. Krutov goes behind the net. Tried to center it. Tipped away by J.Янасek, but picked up by Т.Юменев. Т.Юменев to K.Редмонд. K.Редмоnd left point on the left side of Т.Юменев. His pass in the middle to Krutov to Т.Юменев, and it's tipped up in the air. Makarov spun around the corner. Makarov walks out in front. Pass over. Is shot wide from the left side on the shot by Krutov. Puck comes to the right point. Makarov with it. 40 seconds to go in the Soviet power play, and the puck is cleared by the Kings' J.Wells.
And Wells and Hardy finally get a chance to come off. The Kings have only controlled the puck about 10-15 seconds on this power play.
Khomutov for the Russians. Right wing. Khomutov in the slot. Shoots, and a save by J.Янасek. And he covers up and hangs on for the face-off. 1-1 tie, 23 seconds left in the King penalty to Brian Erickson.
Well, the Kings were fortunate. They had a chance to clear it out and get a line change, but the Russians came right back. Another high-quality chance for the Soviets. 20 feet. J.Янасek challenging, coming out a couple of feet, made the save and controlled the puck. 23 saves tonight for a very busy Bob J.Янасek, and a lot of those saves have just been outstanding.
Doug Smith will take the draw for the Kings against V.Kov of the Soviet Union. Soviet Union controls it. Starikov on the right side. He gives it over to Gerasimov. Back up the middle now to Starikov. To Gerasimov, right side. Over to Babinov. Left point. He shoots. Deflected wide. Gerasimov with it. 8 seconds to go in the power play. Gerasimov, right side. Into the slot. Broken up and cleared. And that'll do it. The Kings are back at full strength. They killed a 2-man disadvantage. The game is tied 1-1. Puck is in the Soviet zone. Khomutov almost lost it to Butsy Erickson. Here's Bykov to center. Bykov's pass over on the left side of the blue line. Offside. The Russians as Gerasimov goes offside at the King blue line. 1-1 tie. 5.
Get a look at the near capacity crowd, but a lot of people figured the Kings had no chance to win this game, and they're playing with that extra determination right now.
Kings with it down the left side. Hackborn into the Soviet zone. On that power play, the Kings had the puck only 7 seconds when they were killing the penalty, when the Russians had the man advantage. Now the puck driven into the King zone, and
Bob Erickson was dumped away from the puck. The referee didn't see it. Sykes, who was dumped earlier away from the puck, then took a penalty, hopped off the bench on the Kings bench, and was hammering his stick against the boards, and a bit of disgust at the officiating.
Face-off in the Soviet zone. Game tied 1-1. Second period. Puck comes out to left point. R.Lapойnт sends it in deep. Tipped away. Len Hackborn with it. Hackborn in the left wing corner. He stopped there. His pass now around the boards. Taken by the Red Army and cleared. Out past Lukowicz to center. Lukowicz chases it down right in front of the Soviet bench. Sends it back into the Red Army zone. Back to get it now is Alexei Guzarov. His pass tipped away, but will be controlled by the Red Army. Kings have been outshot 26-10 unofficially, but the game is tied 1-1. Marcel Dionne tied it here in the second period at 9:22. Kings intercept Tiger Williams. Soviet zone. Throws it off the right side to Lyle Fair. Fair, the rookie out of Michigan State, down in the corner. He plays it to Hawkinson. Hawkinson with it, right wing side. Hawkinson sends it behind the net, but it's intercepted there by Tюменев. Tюменev's pass broken up by Tiger Williams. Over to Fair. Fair on the right side. Fair sends it back in deep, picked up by Hawkinson. Hawkinson, right side, Soviet zone. Hawkinson still with it. His pass, left side to Wells, being held up. Wells shoots wide. Could have been about 4 penalties called against the Russians tonight, Nick. At the right point, Д.Кеннеди shooting, it's wide. Rebound behind the net. Hawkinson with it. Soviet zone. Hawkinson tried to give it to Fair. Tipped away by Gusarov, and Gusarov clears it off of the linesman Ryan.
It's not what I've been eating for Christmas. It's what I've been drinking for Christmas.
At center ice, Kings with it. Here's Taylor. Sends it into the Soviet zone. 3:55 to go in the second period. Game tied 1-1. Soviets break it up. Back to center. Rashid Gimaev. Gimaev pass. Right side. Held in by the Soviet Union. Fetisov shooting, and a save made by Янасек. Puck comes over on the right side. Taken now, and a shot from the right side. Deflected wide. The shot by V.Fetisov. Picked up now by the Kings and cleared out to center ice and back down into the Soviet zone. 3.5 minutes to go in the second period. Bob Miller with Nick Nixon. The Kings are tied 1-1 with the Central Red Army, the champions of the Soviet League. Here's Kasatonov passing down the right side into the King zone, chased in by Rick Lapointe. Lapointe goes behind the King net. Lapointe around the right side. One hands it up to center to Dionne, broken up by Gimaev, taken again by the Kings. Lapointe. Lapointe drops it now into Dionne, right side, but it went behind him, taken by Taylor. Taylor, right wing side. Taylor's pass behind the net, chased down by Joe Patterson. Patterson for the Kings, bumped against the boards. Dionne tried to get it, couldn't get it. 1-1 tie. Back comes the Soviet Union. 2:51 to go here in the second period. Gimaev, he's lost his helmet and now loses the puck to Mark Hardy. Hardy around the left side. His pass held in, but Hardy runs right smack into V.Fetisov and knocks him down. Puck taken by the Kings. J.P. Kelly, he shoots it into the Soviet zone.
Well, compared to that first period, Bob, the Kings playing with a lot more confidence.
Fans cheering every body check of the Kings tonight, Nick, especially the ones by J.P. Kelly. Here's Kelly, Soviet zone. Kelly tried to get it to Smith, tipped away by Kasatonov. Smith, left wing side. Puck is tipped away by Vasiliev. Now it comes to Fetisov. Fetisov plays it around the boards with 2:10 to go. Second period, puck held in by Redmond to Sykes. Sykes in front to Smith, tipped away. Back out to Redmond to the blue line. Redmond trying to hold it into Sykes. Sykes throws it down the right side. 2 minutes to go in the second period. 1-1 tie. Wells at the left point. Wells drives it behind the net, and Sykes got dumped again, and he argues with the referee. Then he slashed at one of the Russians. Didn't get called for it. Here's Sykes in front to Smith. He couldn't get the shot. Tipped away and cleared by the Russians. Icing as the Kings had the pressure on. And Sykes is really upset, and he should be. He got dumped in front of the net, and now Jay Wells talks to the referee, Morozov. But the Russians have not been called for a penalty, and I wonder what they're talking about. Morozov, the referee, doesn't speak English, and Jay Wells doesn't.
Telling, I think, the referee that I'm being hooked constantly as I set up for position in front of the net, but no penalties.
Now off the draw, Krutov in the Soviet zone, can't hold on to it. Kings with it. Pass to Lukowich, right point. His pass broken up. Soviet Union with it. Krutov passing up on the right side to Makarov. Into the King zone against Rick Lapointe. Tried to pull it around him, he couldn't do it. Lapointe takes him out of the play. Puck is still in the King zone, though. Now taken by Lenny Hackborn. He clears it to center. Chased down by Starikov with Lukowich right behind him. Intercepted. Eriksson over. Shot by Lukowich and a save by Mylnikov. Eriksson set up Lukowich, and he got stopped by a great save. Kings with it. Eriksson shoots, save, rebound, and in front of the net again. Hackborn got pulled down. Back come the Soviet Union. Tюменев across the line to Krutov. Game tied 1-1, second period. Krutov in deep. Krutov right side. Krutov's pass up the middle. Shot tipped down the way in. Shot by Starikov. 43 seconds to go, second period. Tюменев. He is checked hard by Д.Кеннеди. Back come the Kings. Brian Eriksson to center. Eriksson with Hawkinson. Over to Hawkinson, right side. Hawkinson, Soviet zone, falls down as he tried to turn in the corner. 29 seconds to go in the second period. A 1-1 tie. Puck is taken by the Soviet Union in their own zone. Back to center they come. Bykov to the King line. Bykov's pass to Khomutov. Khomutov's pass in deep, right wing side. Taken there by Gerasimov. Behind the net, Gerasimov's pass up the middle. Intercepted by Jay Wells. 8 seconds to go in the second period. Wells with it. Wells pass up the left side to Tiger Williams. 3 seconds to go in the period. 1 second. That's it. 1-1 at the end of 2 periods. And the crowd loves it. They never, ever expected the Kings to be tied 1-1 with the Central Red Army at the end of 2 periods. And
even at 16, 3 penalties, minors to the Kings for 6 minutes.
Third period underway, game tied at 1. Jay Wells drives it in, and Smelnikov makes the save and then kind of mishandles it. Puck is behind the net, picked up now by Dionne, left side. Dionne's pass broken up, held into the blue line by Wells. Wells into Taylor. Taylor bumped in the left wing corner, Soviet zone. Taylor against the boards to Dionne. Dionne sweeps it behind the net toward Taylor. Taylor with it. Taylor checked there by Stelnov. Taylor and Stelnov battle for it. Joe Patterson digs it out for the Kings. Here's Patterson, right wing side. Patterson to Dionne, didn't get it. Now Patterson again in the corner. Patterson battles there. Pass goes to Hardy. Hardy got it to the right point, but it got out to center ice before Taylor could get there to keep it in. And when Taylor flips it back in, the Kings are offside of the Soviet blue line.
We have a National Basketball Association score. The Lakers losing to San Antonio, 109-91. Lakers losing for just the 4th time this year.
Want to say hello to Michael Zone. He just returned from the hospital and he's home watching Prime Ticket tonight. We hope he's enjoying the telecast.
Bernie Nichols not in the lineup. Wants his folks to know, Marge and George Nichols back in West Guilford, Ontario, that his brother Aaron did make it to Los Angeles for the holidays.
Now Bykov at center across the King line, broken up by J.P. Kelly. Clears it back to center ice. Both teams at full strength. The Soviet Union has not had a penalty called on them yet, although in our estimation could have been about 4 called here in the second period. Now at center ice, here's R.Lapojnt. He flips it down into the Soviet zone, chased in by Fetisov behind the net. He's bumped hard by J.P. Kelly. Back to center come the Russians. Across the line, Gerasimov drops it back in a shot by Kasatonov, and he scores! Kasatonov got the drop pass from Gerasimov, and Alexei Kasatonov has given the Soviet Union a 2-1 lead.
Well, the defensemen getting involved. They carried the puck. Gerasimov cutting to his left as he hit the Kings line, and he drops it for the defenseman, number 6, Kasatonov, and he just blasted one in the upper right corner, glove side on Bab-Janasek. Good puck movement again. The Kings had to back in because they were outmanned, and the Soviets take a 2-1 lead with that early goal at 1:13. That's what Mike Murphy just said a few moments ago, Bob. Keep them off the score sheet for the first 5 or 6 minutes, and he felt the Kings could wear them down, but now the Kings have to fight back from that 1-goal deficit.
Kings have never led in the game. They trailed 1-0 on a goal by Fetisov. Then Dionne tied it at 1. And now Kasatonov has given the Central Red Army a 2-1 lead. And here they come again down the right side. Dроздецкий shooting and a save by Янасек. Puck comes into the right wing corner. Check thrown on Alexander Zubin by Hardy. Puck comes back behind the King net around over the left side. Taken by Babinov. He gave it to Dроздецкий. Dроздецкий's pass tipped behind the net and taken now by Morris Lukowich. Lukowich up the left side. Lukowich trying to clear it out. Can't do it. Held in by Dроздецкий and his shot wide. Rebound comes over to Shepelev. Shepelev in the corner with Butsy Eriksson. Dроздецкий digs it out. Dроздецкий's pass. Got it himself. Gives it away now as the Kings' Brian Eriksson has it in the Kings zone. Over it goes to Hardy. Hardy up the center. Kings are down 2-1. Hardy shoots from center ice. It's wide to the left side of the net. Puck is taken now by Starikov. Sergei Starikov plays it up the left side to Babinov. Now taken down into the Kings zone, down the left side by Vasiliev. Broken up those. The Kings come back. Tiger Williams throws it up the center to Lyle Fair, and he shoots it into the Soviet zone. 17:39 left to go in the game. Kings are down 2-1. Puck is in the left wing corner. Guzarov pulled down there. Oh, no penalty called. He got hooked from behind by Tiger Williams and went down on top of the puck. We'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
When you're off on a weekend and your wife is bringing a few odds and ends, Send Avis an SOS when you're going to a charity ball and your car looks like a charity case. Send Avis an SOS when you've got to get to work and you can't get your car to work. Avis will answer your cry of distress with the right car right in your neighborhood. Avis's Christmas special, $99 a week or $26 a day.
Shots on goal now 29-12 for the Soviets. The goal at 1:13. Kasatonov from Gerasimov and Bykov at 1:13, 2-1 for the Russians.
Tiger Williams out on the line with Dionne and Hawkinson. Wells and Redmond back on defense for the Kings. Face off in the Soviet zone. Both goaltenders going all the way. Pat Quinn said he would keep Янасек in if he was hot, and he's certainly been hot here tonight. Dionne on the draw. The loose puck taken by Hawkinson to the blue line to Wells. Wells didn't hold it on the line. And the offside was called all the way on the other side of the ice by the linesman Ryan Bozak, and Wells is questioning Jim Christensen, who is standing right there. Wells claiming that he held it on the blue line.
Now he talks to Jim Christensen. I'm sure Jay is saying, well, you felt it was in.
Face off outside the blue line of the Soviet Army. Hawkinson will take the draw for the Kings. 2-1, the Soviets lead. 17:27 to go in the game. Hawkinson is asked to leave, and now we'll have the face-off by Mikhail Vasiliev of the Russians and Tiger Williams of the Kings. Williams wins the draw to Wells. Right side, Redmond. Redmond shoots, it's wide. Rebound off the boards, Tiger Williams. Williams, left wing corner. Centers it. Broken up by Shepelев. Shepelев stopped there as it was tipped away by Redmond, but now the Soviet Union comes back to center. Pass up to center ice and a hard check by the Kings, Anders Hawkinson. He threw a hard check against Ir.Gimaев of the Soviet Union at center ice. Now in front of the King bench. Puck is taken now at center ice by Vasiliev as he got a pass and drove it into the King zone, and a save made by Янасек. Puck is cleared the length of the ice by Jay Wells, and we'll have an icing call against the Kings here. 2-1, the Soviet Central Red Army leads. Third period, let's go to Rich Marotta.
And I'm with public address announcer Dennis Packer here at the Forum. Dennis, you're doing great on these Russian pronunciations tonight. How did you learn?
Well, thank you, Rich. I went over to the Slavic department over at USC, and they helped me out with some of the names, so we'd make it more interesting for the folks here at the Forum.
Yeah, they've given you a hand a couple of times.
Yes, they have. In fact, we have an interpreter right here just to make sure I'm doing it accurately.
Okay, well, we'll keep track of how you're doing the rest of the way. Thanks, Dennis.
Rich. Thanks, Rich.
Face off in the King zone. Fettisov shooting wide to the right side. Rebound, Makarov, checked by Д.Кеннеди. Puck held in by the Soviet Union. Pass to the middle. Backhander save on the shot by Kasatonov. Kings come back. Taylor with Dionne. Tried to get it to Dionne at the Soviet line. He didn't get it, and it comes into the Soviet Union. Touched by Dionne. He tried to give it to Joe Patterson. Rolled away from him. Back come the Russians. They lead it 2-1. Third period. On the right side, their leading scorer, Makarov, across the line. Passes into the slot, broken up by Dave Taylor. Taylor for the Kings. Taylor's pass to center to Joe Patterson. Tipped away from him. Back at center ice. Makarov with it. He passes over on the right side now. And K.Редмонд cutting in. Goes behind the net. Drops it back on the right side. Held in there by the Soviet Union. Fettisov with it. Fettisov behind the net. Fettisov around in front. Tried to jam it in. Couldn't do it. Up the middle. Starikov over to Fettisov. Left side. Fettisov shooting wide off the boards. Rebound. Starikov will hold it in. Starikov down the right side. Starikov to Makarov. Makarov up the middle to Fettisov. Over on the left side, tipped in from Makarov, shooting, hit the goal post. Makarov right in the slot, hit the left goal post. Kings clear it to center. Intercepted by Starikov. It's 2-1 in favor of the Soviet Union. At center ice, here's Д.Кеннеди for the Kings. Ahead to Sykes, tipped away by Fettisov at the blue line. And when Dionne shot it in, the Kings are offside. 2-1, the Soviet Union leads in the third period. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Ordinary videotape can't survive today's sophisticated VCRs. Features like fast forward, freeze frame, and high-speed scanning start destroying your tape from the very first play. So if you've got a sophisticated VCR, get a tape that can do it. Maxell for sophisticated equipment.
Puck is in the Kings zone. Kings trailing 2-1, third period, 15:15 to go in the period. And at center ice now, S.Starikov for the Soviet Union to Gerasimov across the line. Over to Bykov. He shoots and a save by Янасек. A glove save as he caught it against his right shoulder.
Bob Янасek again, a busy goaltender. The Russians looking just as strong here in this third period as they did in the early portions of the game. Continual pressure, good quick puck movement. They almost made it 3-1 a few moments ago. Makarov set up right in the slot, shooting off the pass, hitting the outside of the left post, the stick side of Bob Янасek, and they were just moving that puck around seemingly at will and moving without the puck, and that's how Makarov got open for that split second in front.
Kings win the draw in their own zone as Jay Wells passing up to center ice, and it hops over the stick of Len Hackborn. No icing will be called. Chased by Guzarov behind the net with Hackborn. Soviet zone. It comes over to Lukowich. His pass taken away now, and back from the Soviet Union. On the right side, here's Shepelев across the line. Shepelev's pass left side, save, score! It went off the stick of Янасек into the net. He thought he had made the save, but it went off his stick into the net as N.Drozdecki fired from the left wing, and I thought Янасek had the save, and so did he, Nick, but it went off his stick into the net, and the Soviet Red Army leads 3-1.
Again, they moved the puck laterally, quickness, and found the open man at the top of the left circle. Shot taken from about 30 feet. Янасek got a piece of it. He had a good look at the shot, but the shot goes in, and the Soviets with a 2-goal lead for the first time tonight. The Kings defense forced to back in, and that's just because the Russians are out skating the Kings here in the early portion of the third period.
3-1 Soviet Union with 2 goals here in the third period. Puck is taken now by the Russians again. Veselov across the line, dropped it back, but it's intercepted now by Mark Hardy. Hardy plays it up to center, picked up by Hackborn. Hackborn shoots it down into the Soviet zone. Fetisov back to get it, pumped in the corner by Hackborn. Puck is played by the Soviet Union, but taken away by Lukowich. Lukowich, his pass to Hackborn, up the middle to Bretzi Eriksson, but he had to turn his body to get the pass, and he couldn't reach it, and it comes all the way back into the Kings zone. Rick Lapointe back to get it. Lapointe's pass up to Hackborn at center. Hackborn throws it on the right side of Lukowich, but Fetisov breaks it up. He's spun around by Lukowich. 14 minutes left to go in the game. It's 3-1 in favor of the Central Red Army, the Soviet League champions, 28 of the 39 years that the league has been in existence. Down the left side into the King zone, the puck comes to Lyle Fair. His pass around to Lapointe, plays it up to Hawkinson. He tips it into the Soviet zone, and Kasatonov chases it down. He drops it off over on the left side, and it's cleared by Mikhail Vasiliev all the way down into the King zone, and we'll have an icing call against the Soviet Union. 13:33 to go in the game. 3-1 in favor of the Central Red Army in front of a sellout crowd, 16,005. Bobby Янасek upset with himself over that last goal, but has he been brilliant tonight?
Д.Уэллс gets the goal, 30 saves already for Янасek. Shepelев, a lone assist at 5:14. And speaking of the assists, Bob, over in the Russian league, they only give out 1 assist on the goals, and if you score on a rebound, no assists are awarded. So that gives you an indication as to some of the scoring feats of some of the Russian players.
Well, that's why some of their scoring leaders did not have a lot of points. In other words, Sergei Makarov led this year, and he had only 65 points in 40 games. They play about exactly half the schedule of an NHL team. Now the Kings with it. Hawkinson, Soviet zone. His shot knocked down by Tiger Williams. He got cleared off by Babinov. Puck is taken by the Soviet Union now with 13:19 to go in the game. Central Red Army with it at center ice. Pass intercepted. Tyumenev's pass taken away by Hawkinson. Here's Hawk, left side, Soviet zone. He tried to pull it around one man. Now Fair holds it in. Fair knocked down, left side on his knees, gets up, loses the puck there, and the Red Army clears to the blue line, held in by Tiger Williams. His pass taken away by S.Starikov. The only King goal tonight by Marcel Dionne, assisted by Dave Taylor at 9:22 of the second period. Soviet Union with a puck control, tips it into the King zone, out of the reach of Krutov, taken by Dave Taylor. Taylor for the Kings. His pass to center, tried to hit Dionne on the right wing, but Babinov broke it up for the Soviet Union. And if they can't make a play, they go back into their own zone, and there it was, Nick. They went from center ice back into their own zone to maintain puck control.
Of course, the theory there, and we've seen some European coaches use it in Sweden, Finland over the years. Is they can't score. The other team can't score if they don't have the puck.
Well, now the Soviet Union gets called for icing as Д.Кеннеди touches it. 3-1, the Russians lead in the third period.
7 other games tonight in the NHL, all of them finals. Minnesota, the big win over Winnipeg. Jets will be here Saturday, 6-5. Buffalo over the Rangers, 6-1. Pittsburgh playing very well, 4-3 over Boston. 9-6 St. Louis over Chicago. Hartford edges the Islanders 4-3. Toronto 5-4, a winner over Detroit, and Washington rolls along 4-3 over Quebec.
Face off to the left of the goaltender Mylnikov.
Soviets have had the puck 6.5 minutes of the 7.5 minutes.
And off the draw, shot by Dionne, saved by Mylnikov. Dionne again. Dionne's pass in front of the net, broken up and cleared. Back out to center by I.Stельnov. Comes down into the Kings zone, and М.Харди back to get it. Hardy starting out for the Kings now with 12 minutes to go in the game. Pass up to center ice, broken up by Veselov. Now to Krutov, Kings zone, or Bykov, I'm sorry. Bykov, left side. Bykov, pass in front, score! Beautiful pass by Bykov over on the right side to Gerasimov, and he put it up past J.Янасek. Bykov on the left of the net, Nick, with a perfect pass to Gerasimov, and he flipped it up under the crossbar, and it's 4-1 now, Soviet Union.
Well, again, I think they're just wearing down the Los Angeles Kings with their puck control. Many times the Kings have been out there longer than they would have liked. They just couldn't get off for the line change because of that pressure. A centering pass right in front, tapped in past J.Янасek by Gerasimov at 8:07.
I think J.Янасek actually got a piece of that, Nick, as the pass by Bykov came over to Gerasimov, and it just went off a part of J.Янасek right over on the right side to Gerasimov. Now the Soviet Union with it again. Puck is in the Kings zone, out of the right point, held in by Fetisov. Kings trying to take it away, and they do. J.P. Kelly couldn't clear it, taken by Wells. 11:29 to go here in the third period, and the Soviet Union has all 3 goals in this period, and they've opened up a 5-1 lead. At the right point, Redmond holds it in. Redmond to Sykes, to Redmond in the slot. Redmond, his pass in front, deflects off of Doug Smith, taken behind the net by Sykes. Sykes spun around there. J.P. Kelly over to help out, didn't get it. Puck taken by the Central Red Army. Up to center ice they come. Here's Drozdetsky. He's got a goal tonight. Drozdetsky passing back to his own blue line. Now pass to Drozdetsky. He wanted to come off, and he saw the puck, and he picks it up. Drozdetsky shooting wide. He was coming to the bench, and he looked down, Nick, and there was the puck. So he had to bring it into the zone. Now we've got Sykes. Looked like he got elbowed. He slashed at the Russian Fetisov. They got Fetisov, but now they may also get Doug Smith. Yep, they're going to get one from each team. 4-1, Soviet Union leading. And we'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till you're gonna need somebody to lean on.
There's a truck for you to lean on at your Southern California Chevrolet dealer.
Phil Sykes was elbowed up high by Fetisov, and the penalty was upcoming to the Russian player. Sykes was not going to get a penalty, and then Doug Smith came in, and Smith took exception, and I think he is getting a penalty, so both clubs will be shy a skater. No, they won't. NHL rules, they'll remain at full and equal strength, but Smith drawing the penalty, so both clubs get a 2-minute minor at 9:09.
Fans were a little upset over that, but Doug Smith deserved the penalty, and had he maintained his composure a little bit, Kings would have had their first power play of the night. 4-1 in favor of the Soviet Red Army. Team still at full strength. Here's Д.Кеннеди in the Kings zone. Kennedy coming up the center, trying to get it to Lukovic, but it went behind him. Chased down now by Starikov and Lukovic into the left wing corner. Puck is against the board. Soviet zone. Dug out by Morris Lukovic. Pass on the right side. Shot. Save made on the shot by Butsy Eriksson as the goaltender Sergei Mylnikov comes up with a big save. Butsy was right in there. Nice feed from Lukovic over to Brian Eriksson.
I think Brian wanted to pull the trigger quicker than he actually did, and that gave the goaltender Mylnikov a chance to come over and at least get some angle on the shot, but a good setup by Morris Lukovic right through the slot inside the right circle, and Eriksson trying to go up high was stopped by Mylnikov. One of the few good scoring chances for the Kings in the game, and only, I think, their second shot on goal here in the third period, and we played 9.5 minutes. 4-1, Soviets in front.
Face off in the Soviet zone. Viktor Tયુменев will take the draw against the Kings' Len Hackborn. Kings are home here Saturday night and Monday night, both games against the Winnipeg Jets. And there are tickets available, and those are two very important Smythe Division games. Off the draw now in the Soviet zone. Puck is taken by the Kings. Dionne as he intercepts. Dionne's pass to the blue line to R.Lapojnt. Lapojnt flips in there. It was not Dionne, it was Brian Eriksson. Eriksson, his pass taken by Lapojnt. Lapojnt held it in, but now it's tipped by Makarov back out to center. Taken by Д.Кеннеди. Kennedy gives it to Р.Lapojnt. Here's Lapojnt passing up to center now to Len Hackborn. He is knocked down by Guzarov, and a penalty. Cross-checking against the Soviet Red Army defenseman Alexei Guzarov, and the Kings, Nick, will go on the power play for the first time tonight, but as we all know, they have certainly struggled on that during the National Hockey League season this year.
Well, that's true. Cross-checking will be the call. Guzarov, defenseman, 9:56, first power play for the Kings, and let's see if the Kings can get it cranked up and get a goal to make it a 2-goal contest. 10:04 left to play. Penalty right at center ice, and the puck was in their skates. And again, the referee seems to just make the calls whenever the players that are guilty of the infractions are near the puck, because all of the activity in front of the goaltenders tonight, whether it's been a Russian power play or at equal strength, has gone unnoticed. Kings will send out Dionne, Taylor, Lukovic up front, Redmond, and Wells on defense.
Krutov will face off against Dionne. Dionne wins the draw. Kings with a power play now. They're down 4-1. 10 minutes to go in the game. Here's Wells. Wells in his own zone. Lost the puck to Khomutov, then got it back. Wells over to Redmond. Here's Redmond to center. Redmond gives it to Taylor. Taylor throws it over to Dionne, left side. Dionne going in. Dionne's pass up the middle. Shot by Lukovic, and a save made by Mylnikov. And Lukovic bumped into Bykov in front of the net and went down. And Lukovic, I don't know if he's shaken up or not, but he's bent over, skating over for the faceoff.
I don't think he got all of that shot. Marcel Dionne blindly dropping it in front. It got by the skate of Dave Taylor and was picked up by Morris Lukovic, and he fanned partially on it, and it turned out to be a pretty easy save for Mylnikov in goal, and he covers up for the faceoff.
To the left of Mylnikov, Dionne will take the draw. Kings have 1:40 to go in the power play. Dionne wins the draw to the right point. Picked up there by Redmond to Wells. Wells, his shot blocked out to center ice and picked up by Redmond. It was blocked by Bykov. Redmond gives it to Lukovic. Now to Redmond in the Kings zone. Redmond passing up to the blue line to Taylor. Taylor to Wells. Wells over to Lukovic. Lukovic goes behind the net now in the corner. Lukovic gets help from Taylor. Lukovic and Taylor still battle for it. Picked up by Kasatonov, and he clears it as Redmond tried to get over there. Couldn't get there in time. Then lost his stick in the skates of the linesman, Jim Christensen. Jay Wells for the Kings. To Dionne, off his stick into the Soviet zone. Dionne gets help from Lukovic. Lukovic behind the net. Lukovic looks for somebody at the blue line. The Kings get Hardy and Lapointe out, but the Central Red Army clears it back down into the Kings zone. The Kings having just as much trouble tonight as they have had in the NHL season with a man advantage.
Yeah, they just can't get that puck in the zone and get the power play set up.
Hardy to Tiger Williams. Tiger at center with 37 seconds to go on the power play. Williams backhands it. Soviet zone. Starikov with it. Starikov's pass out to center. Hardy has it for the Kings. Hardy bumped at center ice by Drozdetsky. Now Hackborn. Hackborn across the line. Hackborn to the right point. Gives it to R.Lapojnt. R.Lapojnt right side. Lapojnt, his pass into Tiger Williams. He didn't get it. 15 seconds to go in the power play. Puck is held in by Lapojnt. Sends it behind the net. Now Butsy Eriksson tried to get it. He couldn't, and it comes over to Nikolai Drozdetsky for the Central Red Army. It's 4-1 in favor of the Soviets, and now they are back at full strength. So the Kings did nothing with that power play. At center ice, here's Butsy Eriksson for the Kings. Eriksson at at the red line, gives it over to Hardi. Hardi tried to bring it across the line, tipped away. Vasiliev down the left side against Lapointe. Vasiliev in the slot, shoots, saved by J.Янасек in his pads. Vasiliev had Rick Lapointe spinning from side to side. Now he has it again. He shoots wide to the left side. Vasiliev shot over the net. Puck is taken by Tюменев. He tried to bring it out in front. He's checked by Hardi. So the Kings gave him a battle here for 2 periods, tied 1-1 at the end of 2, and then in the 3rd period, the Soviet Union broke it open. Marcel Д.Уэллс shaking hands with the captain Фетисов. Д.Уэллс with 2 goals tonight. Фетисов coming up with the first goal of the game. The goaltender, Mylnikov, and now the Soviet Union waving to the crowd here in Los Angeles as they have Kennedy down the left side. Kennedy flips it behind the net to Taylor. Taylor had it taken away by I.Stельнов for the Russian Soviet Army team. 4-1, Soviet Army leading. Here's Guzarov at center. He gives it on the left side now. Makarov cutting in front of Krutov. He didn't get to it. It was covered up by the goaltender, J.Янасek. 6:19 to go in the game. 4-1 Soviet Union. Let's go to Rich Marotta.
One of the things that has really helped the Kings to a very respectable showing tonight has been a full house here at the Forum. You know, the Kings have been averaging about 9,500 fans, but as you can see this evening, a full house, 16,005. Very well-mannered crowd, but yet very enthusiastic. They've really boosted up the Kings a notch tonight.
Well, they'll have to boost them about 3 more notches, Nick, in the next 6 minutes and 19 seconds.
Well, I'm impressed. The Soviets, the Kings, throwing some excellent checks, doing some good job forechecking, and Soviets just bounce off and they continue to go at full speed. They're in great shape.
Puck taken by Redmond ahead to J.P. Kelly. Kelly throws it on the right side. Now a pass ahead to Sykes down the middle. It bounced over his stick. Sykes in the Soviet zone. Sykes left wing side. Throws it behind the net to J.P. Kelly. Intercepted by the Soviet Union. Pass up to center. Krutov side now. Makarov to Krutov as he tried a spinning pass, and it's picked up by Krutov. Right side. His pass into Tюменев. Taken away by the Kings' Rick Lapointe. J.P. Kelly to center. Kelly throws it down the left side, Soviet zone, but cleared back to center. Makarov to Krutov. Krutov left side, he shoots wide to the right side. 5.5 minutes to go in the game. Kings are down 4-1. It was 1-1 at the end of 2 periods. At center ice, Kasatnov for the Soviet Union from the blue line with a shot and a save by J.Янасek. Puck taken by the Kings. Hardi throws it around the boards on the left side, taken by Lukowich. He clears it to center. Intercepted there by the Soviet Union. Bykov intercepted, gave it to Makarov. Now Bykov again at center. Vyacheslav Bykov across the line. Stick handles right side. Still has it. Shoots wide to the left side. Picked up by Alexander Gerasimov. To Bykov is shot wide to the left again. And J.Янасek falls on it as it comes off the boards. 4-1. Soviet Union leads. And we'll be right back. This is the Los Angeles Kings Hockey Network.
Rise and shine. Cast your line. Catch the limit here. Now you're talking fishing. Now you're talking beer. Now you're talking good times. And Stroh's is smoking here.
Stroh's, fire brewed for smooth, consistent taste.
Shots on goal, of course, favoring the Soviet Union as it has throughout the game. 37-16 right now. And off the draw in the King zone, Wells tips it over to Д.Кеннеди. Kennedy's pass intercepted and a shot off the glove of J.Янасek. Shot by Bykov on the left side, and J.Янасek didn't know where the rebound was. It went high in the air. Now it's batted out of midair at center ice by Babinov, but the Kings control it across the line. Down the left wing side. Kings with it. Erickson to the left point to Wells. Now to Brian Erickson. Tipped away and back out to center. We'll have our post-game show coming up after the game tonight. We invite you to stay tuned for that. 4:27 to go in the game. Soviet Union leading 4-1. Across the King line, Gerasimov's pass over to Khomutov. Khomutov passing to the blue line, tipped away, but now held in, and Jay Wells will chase it down. Wells plays it around the boards to Lukowich, to Hackborn. Hackborn's pass into the Soviet zone, but picked up there by Sergei Babinov. 4 minutes to go in the game. 4-1 Soviet Union with 3 goals here in the third period. Pass on the right side. Shot is deflected up into the crowd. Shot by Alexander Zubin. And we'll have another face-off. We're down to 3:53 to go in the game.
Ryan Bozak, one of the officials, linesman, Bakavoy in Russian. Have to remember that for future NHL games. Ryan Bozak, of course, along with Jimmy Christensen, the linesman tonight, worked quite a few of the games here at the fabulous Forum. Russians in front 4-1. They have dominated play territorially and handled that puck about 3/4 of the game.
Kings in their own zone. They're down by 3 goals with only 3:45 to go in the game. Up to center ice, 2-on-1. Patterson shooting and a save. He had Dionne with him. Patterson shot from the right side, saved by Milnikov. Dionne with it up the middle to Taylor. Shooting, deflected wide. Rebound off the boards. Soviet Union with it. Cleared up to center now by Н.Дроздецкий. Taken away at center ice by Dionne, but it comes back now to Igor Stelnov. Stelnov's pass up to center to Н.Дроздецкий on the right side. His pass taken away by the Kings, Craig Redmond. Redmond's pass picked up by Taylor. Taylor left side. Taylor over to Dionne, and a save by Milnikov. Out to the left point. Held in by Rick Lapointe. Lapointe into Taylor. He tipped it. Save. Rebound. Dionne's score. Marcel Dionne and Dave Taylor in front of the net, and it looked like Dionne got his stick on it to tip it up into the net. It's now the Soviet Union 4, the Kings 2. Dionne with his second goal of the game.
Rick Lapointe keeping that puck in at the left point, dropped it in front, a lot of traffic. It deflected up in the air, hit the crossbar, went off the goaltender's right arm, and then dropped over the goal line. Marcel Dionne getting credit for the goal, so both Kings goals by Dionne. Taylor with an assist, the goal at 16:54. Lapointe assisting as well. So the Kings got a couple of good bounces. One, in that it went off the crossbar and came in front, and two, it went off the arm of the goaltender and then dropped over the goal line.
Now at center ice, hard check by Wells on Bykov as he ran head on into him. 2:55 to go in the game. Kings are down by 2. Puck is taken now by the Soviet Union. Pass up on the right side by Bykov. Now into the Kings zone. Khomutov dropped it back, and it's intercepted by the Kings. Hardy throws it up on the right side to Lyle Fair. Fair drives it into the Soviet zone, trying to hit Tiger Williams. Williams takes a punch at the side of one of the Soviet players, I think Khomutov. Puck is taken by Wells. He hit him in the side of the head, left side of the head. 2:24 to go in the game. Puck taken away by the Soviet Union. Pass, and it comes over to Bykov. He's on the left wing side. His pass held in now and up the middle. A pass on the right side. Soviet Union with it. King zone. Pass by Gerasimov. Kasatonov shooting. Deflected off the stick of J.Янасек. 2 minutes left to go in the game. Here's Gerasimov on the right side. Gerasimov up the middle. Fetisov shoots. Saved by J.Янасek. Oh, what a beauty. And Fetisov can't believe he didn't score on that. Nick, he put some moves on. Now he goes back to tap J.Янасek on the pads. Nice display of sportsmanship by the captain, Vyacheslav Fetisov of the Soviet Union.
We mentioned in the pregame show, he is Coffey, Bork, Doug Wilson, you name the NHL's best. He's all of those players rolled into one. Outstanding skater, headed right down the middle. Nobody picked him up, and he had time to deke, shoot, but J.Янасek, sprawling to his right, made the save with the stick and covered up to force the face-off. Bobby J.Янасek has faced close to 40 shots on goal, and a lot of those shots, Bob, from the start of the game right to this moment, have been quality chances.
Dionne on the draw in the King zone. 1:54 to go in the game. Pass all the way down into the Soviet zone by Redmond, but this is going to be icing against the Kings. So Redmond didn't get across center ice. Pat Quinn's ready to pull J.Янасek. He was skating toward the bench. but the Kings are called for icing.
Well, I think in analyzing tonight's play, Bob, you see the big difference in the Russian style and the NHL style. You can't just say it's the King style, but the puck control and being very patient, not giving the puck away. And of course, the Russians are such gifted athletes that they can elude a lot of the forechecking maneuvers from the Kings tonight. They can elude a lot of the checks along the boards and hold on to that puck. Whereas the Kings many times have just given that puck away, turned it over, dumped it out, because they have been pressured by this dominating team.
Nick, all the predictions around here by a lot of people who we never see here at the game, a lot of columnists and announcers that are never out here to see the Kings, were that the Kings were just going to get embarrassed in this game. It's been anything but that. They were tied 1-1 at the end of 2. Now behind the net, here's Taylor. J.Янасек is out with 1:38 to go in the game. Kings have the extra attacker trying to tie it up, but the Soviet Union comes back. Babinov's got the empty net, tipped away by Lukovic at center ice. Now the loose puck across the King line, chased down by Lukovic. The King net is empty. The goaltender was off with 1:38, J.Янасek. Back come the Kings. Lukovic throws it on the right side to Р.Лапойнт. Out of his reach. Starikov breaks it up. Лапойнт, right wing corner. Put it behind the net to Lukovic, and it is frozen there with 1:09 to go in the game and a face-off in the Soviet zone.
Well, I think you're right, Bob, and I think the Kings, I'm sure they can read the papers and listen on the radio and TV, and, well, it certainly is not going to be a contest because the Kings have struggled in the regular season. I think that was just an added incentive to the Kings tonight. They came out and they've skated very well. They have played the way that the coaches wanted them to play, to try and control play along the boards, dump it in, outwork the Soviets, outmuscle them along the boards. And, you know, obviously the Red Army team is just tremendously talented, and at times they've just worn down the Kings on particular shifts. We got a timeout now called by Coach Pat Quinn. But when you control the puck like the Soviets have, and we've seen it, Bob, the defensemen just gasping for a breath, and they just can't get off to make a line change, and that's when you get burned.
While the Kings are gathering around Pat Quinn, a chance to remind you now, Winnipeg is here for 2 games in a row, National Hockey League games. Saturday night, the Winnipeg Jets here. Monday night, Winnipeg here again. And right now, Winnipeg leads the Kings by 8 points in the Smythe division, but Winnipeg has played 5 more games. So a great chance, Nick, for the Kings in these 2 games coming up, Saturday and Monday. Saturday's game will come your way on KGIL Radio, 1260 on the AM dial at 720. Monday, the game on KLAC Radio, 570 on the AM dial, starting with our pregame talk show at 10 minutes to 7, and it'll also be on the Prime Ticket Television Network Monday at 7:15.
Well, the Jets have had the Kings number the past 3 years, but the first 2 games played between the 2 rivals earlier up in Winnipeg, the Kings swept the Jets, winning 4-1 and 3-2. So hopefully the Kings can continue their winning ways against Winnipeg this weekend.
1:08 to go in the game. The Kings are down by 2 goals. It's 4-2. Kings have pulled their goaltender Bob J.Янасek with about 1:38 to go in the game. King net is wide open. They have the extra attacker on the ice. Face off in the Soviet zone. D.Onn will take the draw, wins the draw to Redmond to the right side. Redmond to D.Onn. D.Onn in the corner. D.Onn still with it. He passes behind the net to Hackborn, taken away by the Soviet Union. Cleared the length of the ice, and it would be icing, but they're going to wave it off. It didn't get across the goal line. Chased down by Redmond. Less than a minute to go in the game. 51 seconds. Wells with it. Can't hang on to it. Soviet Union. Komutov. His pass taken away. Tiger Williams. Over now to Hackborn. Hackborn sends it down the right side. Back to get it is Kasatonov. Kasatonov's pass to the right wing side. Held in by Taylor. D.Onn battles for it. Now to Wells in front. Shot wide by Hackborn in the slot. And the puck cleared back out to center. 28 seconds to go in the game. 4-2 in favor of the Central Red Army of the Soviet Union as they begin their tour of North America here tonight. 19 seconds to go in the game. Puck is cleared to center. Jay Wells knocks it down with a high stick and then plays it, and the whistle blows. 14 seconds remaining in the game. 4-2 in favor of the Soviet Union. It was 1-1 at the end of 2, and then here in the third period, the Soviet Union got the first 3 goals to go ahead 4-1 before D.Onn got his second of the game to give the Kings their second goal and give our score, or make our score 4-2 with only 14 seconds remaining. Face off right out in front of the King bench. 14 seconds left. The King net is still empty, but what a job Bob J.Янасek did in goal tonight. Unofficially right now, the Soviet Union with 38 shots, the Kings with 20, and Bobby J.Янасek getting a well-deserved rest behind the net right now, but he certainly wishes he was still in there with the Kings ahead or the game tied right now. Face-off, picked up by the Russian, shot at the empty net, scored by Krutov into the empty net. Off the draw, Vladimir Krutov shot it toward the empty net and scored with 10 seconds to go in the game. The goal at 1950 makes it 5-2 Soviet Union. Krutov, the 25-year-old left wing, just fired from outside the blue line about 65 feet away. 5 seconds to go now, and the Kings go offside of the Soviet blue line. So a capacity crowd of 16,005 is filing out, but they saw quite a hockey game here tonight. The Kings are going to lose it, but I don't think they have anything to be ashamed about. The Soviet coaches and everybody else, quite an entourage behind the bench. 4 seconds to go. Kings win the draw. 1 second, and that is it.